for game number 1.
Let's do it. In the bottom left is the red Protoss. He is Drogo, Team Razor Edge.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the blue, representing France and Team Liquid, it is the little corporal himself. Give it up for Clem. Hey, Zombie Grub, do you want to hear a fun fact about PtitDrogo?
Okay.
Do you know what his name means in French?
Small dragon.
Little Drogo. Is Drogo actually dragon in French?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like I feel like it's been a meme, but I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna Google translate it for you real quick.
Oh, thank you so much. My joke is just always little Drogo, because petite is the only French word I know, besides like absinthe. So.
Yeah, of course. According to Google Translate, Drogo in French means druggist in English. So
like a pharmacist, like a chemist.
I think it means nothing. I don't think druggist is a word.
Ah, okay. Well, if we get a winner's interview with Drogo, I know what my first question is going to be for him.
Actually, it does say a pharmacist, so I've never heard that, but apparently it's true. So he's a little pharmacist. Look at that.
Huh. I wonder if that's intentional or weird. He's like a big fan of Dr. Mario and just wanted to bring that forward into StarCraft. I don't know. We do see in the grand tradition of PvT, though, some nice scouts going out all over the map right now. That probe from Drogo checking everywhere to make sure he's not getting surprise proxy. And I imagine we'll see Clem. Yeah, he's dropping a surprise proxy that Drogo has not spotted yet. Here in the south side, Proxy Factory, CG. We've seen this before today. We
did. It was off of one base there, right? With the Marine Lord. So I think it'll still be the same thing, which is that it's going to build 3 Hellions and a medevac. Then we'll see what happens afterwards, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty big committal on the opposite side of the map, but I think it could really pay off because it's really difficult for the Protoss player to see that this is something he should be afraid of, like a command center, a barracks. Maybe it's a little weird. There's not a Reaper out in the field, but that's not going to immediately tell you that it's a proxy. It's just going to maybe tell you that the factory's faster.
Right, and with more Terran players going for those Marine first openers against Protoss these days, it's not going to raise quite as many alarm bells as it otherwise should. Bunker already down to the front here. That SCV should be able to save its life, and I don't think this Adept will be able to snipe the SCV. It's going to be really close here. Let's see how Clem's micro is.
Oh, pretty good.
Man. Yeah,
kind of what he's known for.
He's all right at this StarCraft game here.
He is, yeah. Looks like Drogo really wants to get either the SCVs or the Scout, and be denied the Scout, so just going to leave. I think that is the better call. Unfortunately, that means that Drogo has no idea this is on the way. There's like no way they can tell. I mean, again, like it's a proxy starport maybe, but then the factory would be back at home on this reactor. That can happen, absolutely. But seeing just the reactor barracks is not enough information. Drogo, I mean, unfortunately, even though it's not enough information, you should be thinking to yourself, okay, I don't actually know what's happening. I'm going to play safe. Oftentimes, we just are like, well, I'm going to take a chance, hope that it's kind of normal, prepare for a Widow Mine drop. It's not a Widow Mine drop. Hellions dropping much faster than you would anticipate. At least Drogo has a pylon to scout this incoming, but very few units do anything about it.
Yeah, I know he's got 1 shield battery down. I'm not sure where that is. It's right there in the main base. So it depends on how many Hellions are going to be in this drop right now. It does look like it's only going to be 3. Now, Zombie Grub, is a shield battery going to help Drogo with 3 Hellions on the map?
Sometimes they do, but technically 3 Hellions do 1-shot probe. So it's just enough to really be the damage necessary. So with the split actually being away from the shield battery, it's even a bit less effective. 8 to 9 probes already going down. In the natural, shield battery is not here, and they're lining up right now. Drogo taking some catastrophic damage and still not dealing with a medevac.
Look at these rotations from Clem. This is absolutely gorgeous from the Frenchman. 17 probes going down, and even if he loses this, I feel like this is still worth it, CG. Wow, he's still in there.
Yeah, it's pretty worth it. Oh my god, okay, well that just tap out. Exactly, you just tap out after that shot, don't you? GG, Clem. Such a difficult build for the Protoss to respond to, you know? They really can't figure out that that's what's going to happen, and even if they do have like an inkling, they're like, okay, I think it might be this thing. They have so few units in that part of the game that it's really difficult. I mean, on the other hand, all it takes is 1 less Hellion, and they're not one-shotting your workers anymore. And it just never happened. He kept on saving every last alien.
It reminded me of, I don't know if you ever watched like old-timey Saturday morning cartoons growing up, but it looked a lot like Bugs Bunny being chased by Elmer Fudd, where like Clem would just drop in the natural and Drogo would make his way all the way around, and then by that time Bugs Bunny was back in the main base and Drogo would chase him all the way around. They're doing a little ring around the rosy thing there. It was just really well played by Clem there. Possibly the fastest game one we've had all day, Zombie Grub.
Yeah, I think so. Well, no, I think
Fastest
it might have been
one.
a little bit slower than the Baneling bust from Cyril. So.
Oh, that was game
maybe.
3 though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Still a
Not
very
Empire.
fast one of 2 really fast games today.
There you go.
Oh man, it's been a great day of StarCraft. Always fun to see some builds like that mixed in. Drogo missing the scout, and unfortunately, he's going to be down 0-1. Our next map going to be Eternal Empire LE. A bit more of a standard map. Do you think Clem's going to cheese again here, ZG?
I think he might proxy something, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the factory and Starport proxy. So let's find out together, Creighton. Game number 2 on Eternal. In the bottom left, spawn in blue for his team. He is Liquid Clem.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming. It's Clem's fellow countryman. Give it up for Drogo.
A little bit too quick on that music trigger.
That's all right. My intros are very long. I joked with this on Grant on the B stream, but I feel like I have to say everything about a player when I introduce them, like, you know, where they're spawning, their color, their race, their country, their team, their nickname, their real. Like, I feel like I really get off on it. And then when I've got when I get late, when I have like a really long intro, or if I'm casting StarCraft for a long time, I'll say the same thing 4 or 5 times about each player. So I'll be like, it's the French player from France representing Raise Your Edge Gaming in France, because my brain is mush at that point. So luckily I haven't done it yet today, but I keep waiting to introduce somebody from the same country, you know, 2 or 3 times.
Maybe in a couple hours, yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, hopefully all our North American players are, for the most part, Canada? Yeah, 1 Canadian and three Americans. We'll be fine.
Okay. Well, so far, no proxies.
Clem. Yeah. He's got 1 SCV heading out on the map. This probe should spot it, though.
Yeah.
So Drogo's going to be watching now to see if that SCV makes its way up into his main.
It would be nice, you know, keeping track of if it's scouting or if it's just like, you know, where is it? But it is most likely just for that SCV scouts. Clem is already setting things up differently by opening up with a Reaper, and Drogo would also... I mean, you can't really scout that. You know, you don't want to lose the probe here, but
Right.
As soon as the Marine doesn't pop out, you know, however many seconds earlier than it does a Reaper. I know the Marine's like a lot faster, but I'm actually not sure about the actual seconds. But anyways, you can kind of figure that part out. And already being a bit different, I mean, I think maybe it's still worth scouting around later on for a proxy starport, because those things can definitely come down. But Drogo gets to maybe finally play his early and mid game on Eternal.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, and this is something we talked about in the pre-show, where Wardy asked me what Drogo needs to do to win this one, and I was just pointing out how dangerous Clem can be, obviously through the whole game, but especially to me in the early game. Clem is one of those players who really around 6-7 minutes, even if his build looks standard, he's not afraid to just say, oh, you know what? I think you've overexpanded. I think you've overprobed. I'm just going to send all my units across the map and go for a big push. So wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happening from Clem. Right now, they're just finishing up his natural, getting the bunker down at the front, being extra safe. Ooh, and it's a Twilight out from Drogo again this game.
Twilight Council is what I would have expected if nothing else weird was happening. Once again, going into that blink, and then we'll see how many gateways he slaps down. Adept's going to scout just a reactor. Also, the bunkers can't really do very much. Very quickly into the robo for Drogo, and now Clem wants to scout that. Clem wants to know exactly what's up. He's going to have a Reaper to try and do it, and then he will have a Hellion later on. The Reaper is going to get the scout the Twilight Council.
Nice.
It might die before it's able to exit and see how many gateways are added on, though. I think Drogo kind of wanted to die.
Oh yeah,
Die.
Drogo definitely wants to deny this scout here. There it is. Finally, the Reaper not applying enough grease to his boots that day, not able to slip out. And yeah, tell me what you're oohing about over there, ZG.
Charge instead of blink. This is very different. So Clem is 100% anticipating blink, and then the next follow-up scout on like the number of gateways is kind of like, okay, are you committing to this? Are you going to attack me? You're going to expand. But being charge, I mean, that's going to be a bit feistier, right? That's actually going to be able to come across the map, bop him, a good old-fashioned 2-base charge it all in. You just don't see this anymore. I mean, even if you could kind of read into like a robo timing, or I mean, even if you could see the gas geysers not mining,
Right.
I feel like it just doesn't seem so often that Clem would actually forget to look. Just like, yeah, it's blink, it's fine.
This is fascinating here. And look at the gateway count right now for Drogo, ZG. He's going to be up to 6 gates. That's so many gates on 2 bases. As long as he dodges these Widowmine shots, which is going to be tough because he only has 1 Stalker on the map right now. But as long as he gets away from these Widowmine shots, this charge lot attack is going to hit like a truck.
Not sure how Clem's going to be able to hold it. I mean, sometimes... you know, we'll see. Like, positioning still plays a lot into this. I know, like, Charge Out's kind of a movie, and it's just like, do you have enough units or not? But, I mean, if you're backed into a corner, if you can use your own SimCity against the Charge Lots, obviously chokes don't work well against them. And if you can kind of, like, get it over and done with before it even starts, you know, get the Warp Prism, for instance, like, obviously that's a great thing that Clem could do. But he just doesn't know about it, and that's a lot of Zealots warping in right now. Already kind of a bad start. He's going to grab the Warp Prism and get it very low. Oh, both hit it! Both hit it! That is the start of a defense.
What a beautiful start to the defense. That could not have been better target firing from Clem. And it looks like he's got 8 probes behind this. Dropping a mule, that's how confident he is to keep mining here. The Marines are going to clean this up. Now, Clem has lost 10 SCVs, but Zombie Grub, I gotta believe in my heart of hearts, this is 110% hashtag worth it for Clem.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. The 2 Widow Mines, like, I mean, Drogo's probably like, what the hell? Why do you have 4 Widow Mines and 2 Medivacs? Like, what just happened here? Because that was a unique portion of Clem's build we didn't really talk about because they're so focused on the charge. He said it was going to go for a double drop. That actually ended up saving his life probably, as killing the Warp Prism made it so much easier for him. And then, yeah, he also got into that choke, used the SCVs very appropriately, and got some return damage too. So maybe you can say, oh, if Drogo didn't take any damage, he'd be, you know, maybe okay. He's ahead, he'd have a 3rd Nexus really fast. Well, he did also take damage, and he's lost all map presence and doesn't really want to recommit to a Warp Prism. So, I mean, excellent stuff here from Clem. Drogo must be a little bit frustrated. Seriously, why did you have 2 more Widow Mines?
Seems unfair when your build loses to something like that, and you're like, come on, cruel world, what are the odds? And then, I don't know, some other player pops up next to you and says, never tell me the odds, and then makes you lose the game again. Forge coming down now, as well as the Immortal out for Drogo. So we'll see +1, and now Blink finally coming down. He'll have a decent army with Blink and Charge and some Immortals. Like, it'll be a nice gateway army, but I think volume is what we're concerned about right now, and the amount of army units that Clem is going to have, because he's just now putting his 3rd base down. He's been focusing on this huge army for the entirety of the game so far. And right now, Clem seems to be in what could make me lose mode. Look at this, dropping down the missile turrets, making sure there are no DTs to surprise him.
That definitely makes sense. It's very cautious, but very appropriate. Wouldn't mind drop, I think also just more so focusing on the distraction. So he's going to micro them as well. So of course he will. He's Clem. Main base also being shot. A Stalker loses its life. A Sentry gets injured. 9 more probes in the main base. The Medivac will not be able to escape. But I also, you know, as I was saying, distraction is also critical there. Drogo does not know about the army to the left side. His shield battery is going to get instantly popped, and I mean, he might just tap out. I don't know about that, but it's not looking good for Drogo.
No, it's not. There's a recall going down, but what has he got to recall here? 2 Immortals, one of which evaporates like cotton candy in a stream. The second one barely still alive. That will force Clem back a little bit, but he's only getting out of the way so he doesn't take friendly fire on those Widow Mines. Man, this French kid is so good at micro. Clem, I guess they're both French kids, but Clem is so good at micro. This is absolutely insane. He does lose 1 more Medivac there, and his 3rd base has been slowed down by a little Stalker, or by that Stalker run by that was going on before it was recalled. Clem's overstaying his welcome a little bit here, but honestly, he can trade 1-1 all day here, and I think he'd be just fine to take these trades.
Yeah, I think he's okay taking that trade. A couple Stalkers could go down. Reaching for that last Marauder is going to cost him another Stalker, and the Medivac still isn't quite dying, as Clem is also reinforcing this point. Drogo would have lost his Stalkers for sure if he kept on going. Gonna retreat, take what he can. I mean, now he's done with the harassment, I guess, and can focus entirely on building his army up, but still only on 53 workers to Clem's 56. He did also get a bit of a delay on the 3rd CC, so there was a couple things that gave maybe a little bit of hope to the Protoss, but ultimately Clem is in a, you know, if he loses the game, it's on him kind of position. Drogo is going to try and do something like get to, I guess, do we go for Disruptors? Can he even get there before Clem pushes into him again?
That's a big investment to make after seeing Clem on your side of the map, right? You got that Zelnaga watchtower, you see this Terran pushing across, and your first thought is, I better work on a Robo Bay and start teching up with another Forge and stuff. Seems like an interesting choice from Drogo there. Only 4 probes going down, but the real pressure at the natural here. I don't love that Clem's pushing through this narrow choke point in the natural. It doesn't seem like a great place for Terran players to engage. Really makes it hard for all of your army to sort of funnel through, and if storms or disruptors were available, it would be a suicide mission. As it is, Drogo's going to rotate around to the third base, clean up what's going down in his third base, and looks like he's going to continue putting pressure on Drogo. He might be overstaying his welcome against Zombie Grub, but is it worth it to overstay your welcome if you can force your opponent to not have any map presence?
I think yes, because worst case scenario, he does just evacuate. Like, he's not really in a position that he overstays and gets entirely cleaned up, pretty sure. If he had like 5 tanks, then I'm like, oh, well, make sure you don't close. But his army is very mobile and is about to be reinforced as well, so as Drogo says, oh, you actually know what? I can take that on. There's a little bit more off of that backside, a little bit more to the left as well. Clem just has a 20 army supply lead he's trying to use to catch Drogo out of position. Drogo's not quite falling for it yet, and is still trying to send zealots across the map, which is, nothing but respect for that, to try and interrupt Clem's macro. Just isn't doing a whole lot.
I do like that Drogo's going for Colossi. He's had a decent income like this game so far. Sure, the income advantage has been in favor of Clem, but a lot of that's due to mules, I think. If we look at the actual sustainability, Clem's only like 400 minerals per minute ahead right now. So I do like that he's getting Colossus out. That's going to bulk up his army quite a bit, give him some more splash damage than he desperately needs right now. But yeah, Clem is just so far ahead. It's such a deep hole for Drogo to dig out of. He can't afford to lose 1, 2, 3 immortals like this, CG. He just can't.
Colossus is going to save the day for now, but when Clem, reinforces as well as maybe heals up his units, it's a bit awkward, in fact. And once he heals up his units, then the Colossus, again, is going to feel a little bit scared. A couple of Widow Mines not going to be able to be cleaned up. Drogo doesn't really want to overextend in that direction, and Clem continues to expand behind this. If Drogo could get to, 3 Colossus and maybe start working on Disruptor count, I will believe. But right now, Clem is already transitioning into Ghosts as well as more Vikings. Right now, his lack of direct counter to the Colossus is a bit of a problem. Very temporary thing.
Yeah, he's reading the situation very well, right? And he's not panicking. I mean, look at his starport count, right? He's at 2 starports now. Going to finish up the second starport soon. He's not building 6. Going to make 12 Vikings at a time, then be caught with no ground army and just Vikings, as some Terran players will do. Clem's playing it cool, playing it cool. 4 Vikings at a time. The exact correct amount to take down these Colossi.
This Observer is also a bit of an MVP. It's seeing the constant army movements so that Drogo is yet to be surprised on the right side. I mean, it's probably unlikely he would actually get surprised on either side. He's defending 3 bases currently, which isn't too difficult to do, but
right.
I do think it's a lot of... It gives you confidence. You can say, okay, it's definitely that army there. It's definitely all of the army. And a little more certainty for the guy that's behind. I don't know about rushing into this big concave of Marauders. Only a handful of Vikings, which won't be able to tear down the Colossus, but some good EMPs. Disruptor's going to look for a beautiful shot. Is it going to get it? Nope, gets nothing.
Those splits from Clem were godlike, absolutely gorgeous. We can see the Zealots at the front melting underneath this Bio army as it stims to wins Zombie Grub. The last of the Gateway army is going to disappear. The last of the Robo units now getting picked off one by one, and now Drogo is left with no bulk in his army, even if he cleans this up. Clem's got reinforcements right behind.
Exactly. Grabbing those last 2 Colossus, it makes the Vikings' job a whole lot easier. Only 1 Colossus to tear down, basically no Stalkers, and there is the tap out. Clem starts things off with a 2-0.
Very clean 2-0, I might add. At neither part of either of those games was I like, oh, I'm a little bit worried for Clem. Drogo could do this thing. Both games, Clem just seemed in complete control. We'll see if Drogo can take his mind off of it after a short break. We'll come back for Game 3 in about 3 minutes, guys. Stick around for more DreamHack Masters Fall 2020. Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the DreamHack Masters Fall 2020. My name is Creighton Olsen, and I'm joined by the one, the only, the indomitable Zombie Grub. CG, this is the first Game 3 we're going into today, where the series is not tied up at 1-1. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's maybe just finally time for Clem to shine, and I guess Drogo to be sent to the lower bracket. I don't want it to happen quite yet, but it's kind of what we all predicted, right? Clem is just really, really, really good, and he certainly isn't showing any weakness so far in these games.
I'm personally polling for Wardy. He's predicted a 3-0 for this series, and I really hope he gets one right. He's definitely due for a good prediction. Let's hop in, guys. So, yeah. You guess? Of course he is.
I mean, it's a wholesome take on saying that Drogo should lose 0-3, you know?
Well, if you want wholesome takes, you've hired the right guy, CG. Let's introduce our players here. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side in the blue from Team Liquid in France. Give it up for the little corporal. It's Clem.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, he is Drogo.
Do you think Clem uses product in his hair, or do you think he wakes up and it looks that awesome?
I think he just wakes up and looks that awesome. Yeah.
It's pretty impressive, I'll be honest.
Well, sometimes you just have that hair, right?
I wouldn't know, but I'm still impressed. It looks really good.
Well, you can't possibly have always been bald.
That's true. That's true. I did very briefly have hair. In fact, in my freshman year of undergraduate, I had long, like shoulder length. So I used to describe it as Kurt Cobain hair back in the day. I was blonde. I like dyed it platinum blonde. And so I described it as Kurt Cobain hair for a long time. And then I showed someone a photo of me from that time, and they said, Creighton, that's not Kurt Cobain hair. That's Hanson hair. Which is so much less cool than Kurt Cobain hair. And now I've just been embarrassed ever since.
I mean, I think I haven't even seen that picture, but I think I agree with whoever said that to you, because like Kurt Cobain had like some really nice like dirty blonde is like the perfect like explanation for it. So
yes.
Plus you had to be like a rock or two, and like I don't know, man.
Yeah, no. I was in marching band. Does that count?
Oh, jeez. It's again going the wrong direction there.
Well, we got a good opener from Clem. Again, factory first before expand. There's something in the water apparently today with our French Protoss player or our French Terran players going for those factory openers on one base, CG. Is it going to give Clem enough of an advantage? I always feel like he makes it work, but it seems very tenuous.
That's the big question. I mean, he's taking a bit of a risk by doing this, but it so far has worked out okay. I mean, just the fact that you get the Protoss player to think of like, oh my god, which one is it? Like, what exactly is going on? He's already showed us a lot of power today with Here Maureen doing similar expansions and similar builds for his best of 5. So I like it. We'll see if Drogo over-responds or under-responds. He knows that it was a more one-base build, but the Adept has unfortunately not quite seen the command centers on the low ground and might not see it at all. Shade? Shade sees it.
Oh, thank goodness. So close. And the Adept, oh my god, I thought he was going to get away there for a moment. Doesn't quite make it in. Nice pick off for Clem, but as you said, good scout there for Drogo, who is going to spot sort of more or less what's going on. Now, Drogo's dropped a robo back home behind this. Sorry, CG, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
No, I interrupted you because the observer just showed us that he didn't actually see the command center. Flippin' shade vision.
Wow. It's so
that's
tiny.
Awkward.
Goodness gracious. Well, in that case, Clem's in a great spot then. He's got 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions and a natural down. Even if he doesn't get any damage done here, CG, he's going to be in great shape. Come on, grenades.
No. Oh, yeah, he figured the grenade was going to come, so he just pulls back. Got Sentry warped in, and that is very nice. I almost want to believe that he was going to use it for hallucination, but definitely worthwhile to use it for a force field there. Clem's like, well, I'm not going to give up, not killing anything that quickly. And he's right about that. Reaper's now going to hop into the main base. One already very weak goes down. Next 2 might get into the main as well for some decent scouting. Currently, he's going to see a Robo. And, Drogo? Drogo? He's going to have to pull his probes. I guess he's still dealing with the Hellion. Oh, it's 5, maybe 6 probes dead then. Oh, maybe 7.
Dear. Oh, dear. And the micro saving that Reaper. Are you kidding me right now? Make it 8. Make it 8. Oh! 7 probe kills. Drogo could not be happy about that. I'm just checking his player cam to see if there's any indication of frustration on his visage,
Oh.
and now he's laughing about it.
What? It's funny though, because like maybe he thought he put something down and he didn't, because that was definitely like after the probe kills, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I don't know what that was all about.
Did he mean to put on a robotics bay much faster, or the Nexus much faster? Or maybe that was really just a delayed reaction.
Huh. You know, it's hard to tell with Drogo. He's a hard player to read sometimes, not just in-game, but when you're talking to him as well. I sometimes have trouble figuring out how he's feeling. But as you said, the Robo Bay gonna go. It's just that's fair. The Robo's down. The first. Oh my gosh, sorry. The first observer already out here. Second observer on the way, and that Banshee will get chased away. Only a little bit of damage there for Clem. He's gonna try and hop into the third base of the Hellion. There's nothing here to do. So Drogo's got to be feeling a little better now that he's got the Robo Bay down and everything. But still no third for Clem. Or is it the main base? Yeah, no third.
Yeah, no third yet. I do think he's going to get a third. Don't anticipate a 2-base SCV pool. But Clem, by keeping that one Banshee alive, now has the power of 2 Banshees, which I do believe he will repair up and come back later on. So that's going to be really annoying. Even if it's included with the army fight, that is going to be really annoying. So Drogo going into some classic Colossus opener, not going to have much on the ground, and he's not going to have an ability to deal with like drops too easily. You know, obviously harassment is not really something he could do. He doesn't really want to fit in a Warp Prism. He's got to get to Colossus ASAP. And then if he did fill a Warp Prism with what? Chargeless Zealots? Probably not too good. So, I mean, he's kind of just going to have to defend and hope that he can deflect whatever Clem is about to throw at him, which at least Clem's waiting a little while, right? Clem, with the opener he chose, doesn't have the fastest Stimmer combat shields.
Definitely, yeah. And Clem is a player who's not afraid to push sometimes with no Stimmer combat shields, but in this case, as he's working on both of them now, and he thinks these double Banshees are getting across the map secretly, even though Drogo knows they're there and he's ready for them. Clem won't be able to get any real early aggression done. Is he going to drop this third base, or is he just going to cancel it? Or is he going to attack and drop? Okay, yeah, so he's going to move out, get the third base behind this, but nice scout from Drogo. Drogo's observers have been on point this game, CG, seeing everything.
There's enough of them to deal with the Banshees in both locations, but Clem is just going to hold on to them. I mean, if they're distracting, they are distracting 5 Stalkers, that still also is a bit of damage. It's going to pair up with the main army, it looks like, as Clem is rallying forward. He's going to find the 2 Colossus without a lot of anti-air. He's going to go right for the Sentry, of course. No Guardian Shield, no Force Field. Now the Colossus under threat. Clem's army supply almost doubling that of Drogo. His tanks now in a very good position to stop the reinforcements from the natural. Oh no, Stalkers, no.
Drogo missed microing a little bit. We see the first Colossus going down to the Banshees up north, and that means these Colossi have not been part of this fight at all. So even though the army supply looks like Clem's twice ahead of Drogo, he's actually much, much further ahead than that. Might even be able to cancel charge lots. Nah, he's not even gonna have the chance. GG, and Team Liquid's Clem grabs a clean